through my veins. Oh, this line can't be tamed. There's fire in my blood. Burn.
And we're live. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 2019 season of the Assetto Corsa Flying Championship as we kick this brand new season off at the Bahrain International Circuit for the Formula 2 Bahrain Grand Prix. It's been a very, very long season break, but finally, the ACOC is back with the first round of the Formula 2 season at Bahrain. In the commentary booth today is me, Miran Evji, and joining me for this first ever occasion is Alex.
Yeah, good afternoon, Miran. I'm very happy to be with you today for the first race in 2019, and it is set to be an exciting season to be fair. Lots of new faces in Formula 2, a lot of experienced drivers, so let's just see what happens in this race and get this season off of a bang.
Yes, it is going to be very, very exciting indeed. 20 minutes of qualifying await us, and then a 17-lap race. But yes, a lot of new faces, and also some returning faces in Formula 2. A lot of people stepping up from IndyCar, obviously. People like Emilia Konishina, Emil Nilsson, Daniel Wall, and Will Parrish as well. So a lot of new faces, and then some returning drivers as well. Daniel Fraser, who wasn't even meant to drive in Formula 2 this season, was called up as an emergency reserve for UNI Virtuosi. So he is now with a new team, and we'll see how he fares. But yes, 20 drivers, all young prospects looking to prove themselves to Formula 1. It's going to be very, very exciting.
20 drivers, one championship, as we see here. Alex Broster will be the first to set a lap in qualifying. Going down the main straight into turn 1 now, and I think there will be a car on their outlap going to get in his way, so this lap will be very compromised.
Yeah, that is the trident of Fernando Tost. Obviously Tost, and I believe he was the highest placing rookie in Formula 2 last season, so great things are expected from him this season as well. So we'll see how everyone fares. It's going to be very, very exciting. Last time we went here, back in 2018, it was Maximilian Novikov who grabbed the pole for MP Motorsport here, and then he took a lights to flag victory. And then back in 2017, it was Adam Hedayat who grabbed pole. Obviously Hedayat, who took a sabbatical from the ACOC at the end of 2018, though he has announced his intentions to return in a lower tier. And it was obviously Daniel Fraser who became the first ever ACOC F2 winner at this circuit with a remarkable drive from P6. But yes, it's going to be a very, very exciting qualifying as we're on board with Alex Broster, and as he makes his way around turn 12 onto sector 3, then as he's stuck behind the trident of Fernando Tost here.
Yeah, Broster will definitely be frustrated that he cannot put in a quicker lap as he's been stuck behind Tost for the entire lap. And Tost himself will actually start his first lap now.
Yeah, Tost is just starting his lap, and Broster just finishing his lap. He posts a 1:40.1. That will be the benchmark time to beat for the rest of the grid. Coming across the line there is Nikhil Walji in the Prema, a third successful season race for a Canadian with Prema. He sets a 1:39.6. Rodrigo Jimenez, one of the debutants this season, a 1:39.8. Matija Dragovic, probably one of the stalwarts of Formula 2, sets a time, followed by Daniel Walla in the Charuz, or Sauber Junior team by Charuz as it is called. And then below, followed by Rowan Chotanus, who goes between the two. Emil Nilsson goes P7. But yes, a lot of debuting drivers in Formula 2 then, Alex, and then obviously, yeah, you got custom sponsors on the cars as well for the first time. But yeah, what do you make of the rookies?
Well, they do seem to be very promising drivers after seasons in Formula 2, IndyCar, and DTM, respectively. But yeah, some returning drivers shouldn't actually be here due to emergency call-ups. But yeah, these young drivers will want to be making a good first impression in their first season in F2.
For sure, and then you think about how academies are being introduced for 2019. So it is very, very exciting. Obviously, you have people like Rodrigo Jimenez, Daniel Wall, and Daniel Fraser all in the Ferrari Academy, alongside with Rosetta Martinez, who is the Ferrari reserve driver. So, yeah, and then you got a bunch of young talents as well. Alex Broster, obviously, still staying with Red Bull for a third season, followed by Ida Weitz as well. And then some new faces as well in the academy fields, as we have there's Matthias Poco, just went fastest. Alex Broster goes with the P13. That's all the 20 times on the board at the moment. And it is an all-rookie top 3, as Matthias Poco for Prema currently sits fastest, with Daniel Wala in P2, and then Kuban Grissom for Carlin in P3.
Yeah, Wala, the Chinese driver for Charus, said it could not less than a tenth behind Poco, and maybe he can grab his first pole in F2 today for Charus. But yeah, still a very open field.
Yes, it is still quite close. Entire field is separated by not even a second to Emilia Konishina in last place at the moment. She'll be hoping to set an improvement later. But yeah, no. Looking through the field, the rookies are really performing here. Some of the more experienced guys in Formula 2, namely people like Ida Weitz, Rosetta Martinez, and then Daniel Fraser, a bit further down the field. But yeah, still, we'll see if they'll set an improvement. There is obviously still 13 minutes to go, as we're now on board with the ART Grand Prix car of Emilia Konishina, the only female driver currently in Formula 2. So it'll be exciting to see how she performs after a very good season in IndyCars. Konishina will cross the line now. Goes P19, knocks Emil Nilsson down to last place.
Yeah, Konishina, being the only female F2 driver, is setting a pretty big benchmark here for female racers in the ACOC, and well, sadly, not much improvement from that lap, only good enough for 19th.
Yes, here's Alex Broster driving into the pits. Håkon Olsen, the Norwegian, also set an improvement as well. Fernando Tost just starting his lap there, as behind is Nikhil Walji, who just crossed the line, I believe, but he did not improve. Tost will start his lap now, the man in the Trident, as he makes his way onto the second corner here. You usually see a lot of overtakes at this corner. And then, if the drivers are really brave, they carry that battle through this S's part. And yeah, you can. The great thing about this circuit is that you can really carry battles throughout this part, Sector 2, as he makes his way down to the very hard braking zone, Turn 10. This is where you see a lot of drivers making mistakes as well. And then on to the back straight here, or the I believe this is the club start-finish straight.
Yeah, the Bahrain track, the current Bahrain track layout we are using for F2 has a very good balance of slow corners and quick corners, so should be a lot of interesting battles going on in the race.
Yeah, I think we'll be in for a pretty good race. Obviously, remember back to 2017, we had a very, very exciting race here. It was Adam Hidayat taking pole, and then he got overtaken by Sundevik into turn 3, I believe it was. And then Sundevik faced issues with pace, which saw him drop down the order. Then I believe it was Nishka who took the lead, or it could have been Dragovic actually. And then you had Daniel Fraser with his incredible charge of the field from P6 to P1, made some incredible moves, and he took the race win there. Currently Daniel Fraser lies in P16, but yeah, I guess not a lot is expected from Daniel, considering that this is his return to Formula 2, which was quite a shock call-up to him. Either way, here is Håkon Olsen out on track in his Dam's car. But yeah, Daniel Fraser, what do you make of the guy?
Yeah, Daniel Fraser can be a very good driver on his day, but 2018 just wasn't a very good season for him. He really needs to pick up his form from 2017 again, and he is currently is at a very high risk of losing that seat for 2020.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Fraser's been associated with Ferrari for quite a long time. 2018 was, yeah, it was definitely a season to forget for the British driver. 2019, hopefully, will still be an improvement for him. Obviously, he was meant to compete in Formula E with DS Techeetah, but yeah, now that has not happened, and he's back where he belongs in Formula 2. But we'll see if he can at least hit the ground running in Formula 2, as he will just finish up this lap, as he has got the ART Grand Prix car of I believe it is that's Emilia Konishina, and Fraser does not improve, so he stays P16 for the time being. He was the man I thought was Konishina. This is Jean-Francois Bilot, who had a pretty alright 2018 as well. Obviously, he scored one pole, but he could not compete for that victory. He stayed very consistent, and he matched his teammate on a lot of occasions. So he'll be hoping to capitalize on that pace that he had in 2018 and bring on a pretty good championship charge in 2019.
Yeah, Bilot keeping himself very honest in 2018. Pretty good consistency throughout the season, and he'll be hoping to make sure he has an even better season this year.
Yeah, we know obviously Bilot, who has one race victory to his F2 career, was at Azerbaijan back in 2017, as Rowan Chotanos and Alex Broster both set improvements. Chotanos stays P4, but Broster brings himself up into the top 10. Martinez goes P15 as well. But yeah, Bilot, as I was previously mentioning, 2017 Azerbaijan Grand Prix, it was a lights to flag victory for the Frenchman, where he took the win for ART Grand Prix, and it was his teammate, Yash Parmar, who went P2. That's, to date, the only Team 1-2 in Formula 2 history, which makes it a pretty special occasion. But other than that, he's not really been able to equal or even score a podium in Formula 2. So I feel like that might have been the peak for Bilot's career. But who knows? 2019 will be full of surprises for sure.
Yeah, as we see here, Bilot is finishing us up. He improved on Sector 2, so this could be a very good lap for him, and it is. He goes provisional pole with a 1:39.1.
Yeah, Bilot teaching the youngsters how it's done, as he grabs pole from Matthias Poco in P2. Very good lap from the Frenchman. And yeah, we will see if he can hold on to that. Either way, that is the entire field in an ART sandwich at the moment, as it's Bilot P1 and Konishina P20. But yeah, we'll see if anyone can beat that lap time.
Yeah, Konishina on her lap now, but she does seem to be in the middle of some traffic here, as I believe it's Daniel Fraser in front of her. So into turn 10 now, a very off-camber corner, and can she get it right? Yes, she can. Into the DRS zone now. But yeah, I don't think there'll be any improvement here, since she is stuck behind Daniel Fraser.
Yeah, it is very hard to time when you're going to come out on qualifying laps, especially in such a close field like Formula 2, where you have cars absolutely everywhere and everyone wants to try and set as much laps as possible. So it is a bit difficult. And behind Konishina is, I believe that is Nikhil Walji, as Matthias Poco is still in the pits. So yeah, he's been in the pits for an abnormal amount of time. So I think maybe Prema are having some issues in the pit lane, and they're trying to get Poco's car out. Either way, let us see Emilia Konishina, or let us not see Emilia Konishina, as he goes into the pit lane. Though I think I spotted Matthias Poco coming out of the pit lane. Yes, there he is, as we see an improvement, and it is the Carlin of Ida Weitz, as the Swede goes P2. For Carlin, he's running the number 1 this season, because yeah, in real life, Carlin were the Constructors' Championship. Obviously, they were the Constructors' Champions. Obviously, they were not in the ACOC, but still, the real life numbers apply. As we're being treated to a bit of a battle here coming out of the pit lane, Aditya Bagus, who's on his lap, is gonna not do wonders for the Indonesian. He's dealing with Matthias Poco, as the two head through the S's now, really demonstrating the racing between these two, but Bagus has had his lap completely ruined there.
Yeah, well, these boys seem to think that we're actually underway in racing, but sadly, Vargas will be very frustrated with Palco's antics there, and unfortunately, I don't think he will be improving on a lap.
Yeah, unfortunately for Bagos, I don't think it's going to be an improvement. The man behind, though, Håkon Olsen, who just came out of the pit lane, I believe he's on his out lap, as Emil Nilsson in the UNI Virtuoso goes I was going to say P5, but that's P6, as Eduardo Silva gets himself into the top 3 with a very, very nice 139.294. Only misses out on P2 by about 100th of a second, as he gets knocked out to P4 as Matija Dragovic goes second place, the Serbian. Very, very good stuff from Matija Dragovic. This could be a change in fortune for the Serbian as he goes P2.
Yeah, not only a change in fortunes for the Serbian, but a change in fortunes for Dams, as they've been towards the back for the entirety of F2. As we see now, Nikol Volji in the Prema goes second place now.
Yeah, the old timers are really proving themselves in this qualifying session, as Below gets himself another improvement into the 138 for the Frenchman, and that only corroborates my statement with how the old timers are really proving themselves now, as we thought they'd all we thought that they wouldn't be on the pace in 2019 after 2018 seasons. You think back to Matija Dragovic, he had an absolutely abysmal 2018 season, and now he's P3. Nikol Volji, I guess it did go a bit better for him because they scored his first ever victory in Formula 2, as there goes Rodrigo Jimenez, the Brazilian, in second place, splits Below and Volji. That is the Brazilian up into P2. A lot of improvements in qualifying now. It's really heating up.
Yeah, Jimenez in the Charu setting a fantastic lap, only a 10th exactly off Below's lap time, and yeah, absolutely fantastic from Jimenez, and as Nilsson improves on his time, and I think he stays P9.
Yeah, very, very good stuff from Rodrigo Jimenez, though we'll see if anyone can still challenge Jean-Francois Below, as he's the only man in the 138s at the moment, but the entire field is so close. It's just under, oh god, I'm sorry, I'm just stumbling on my words today, but everyone in the field just separated by under a second, so it is really, really close in Formula 2, and I think it's still everyone's game for pole position at the moment. As here is Rickard Sundvik, the man who was actually supposed to retire for 2019, but as we have a new pole sitter, as we were just talking about beating lap times, Matthias Poco by 0.3 of a second takes pole from Jean-Francois Below, and retake, should I say. That is a very strong lap time from the Brazilian.
Yeah, Prema do seem to be back now with Volji and Palco both inside the top 5, but fantastic from Matthias Palco, and yeah, absolutely fantastic to beat Below's, quite frankly, fantastic time as well. As Håkon Olsen is also on a lap of his own now. Can he improve on his time?
We'll see if Olsen can improve, only 500ths off in the first sector there. But yeah, Prema, who obviously swapped out one Brazilian for another. Obviously, Poco is replacing Gabriel Gomez for 2019. Now currently sits on provisional pole, so Prema might have actually done the right call here. As we're still going to stick with Håkon Olsen here, as Alex Broster for Campos goes P4. And that brings the Brit up into the second row. Obviously now he is the leading Red Bull Junior car, as he gets himself ahead of Ida Weitz, as Rosetta Martinez, who gets himself up into 4th place, just ahead of Alex Broster, as the field is just getting ever closer and closer. So it is still anyone's game for pole, as Emilia Konishina, who was last the entire session, brings herself up into the 138 club as well, goes ahead of teammate Below, and that is ART in 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah, Jean-Francois Below being shown up by his brand new teammate Emilia Konishina, and that is a fantastic lap, only just over 200 above Below Palco, and I think that's Fernando Tost going 11th.
Yeah, Konishina, who I think everyone was expecting not to improve, as Rickard Sundvik for MP goes P4. It's just absolute, this qualifying session is getting very, very close, as we only have a minute remaining. Poco, crucially though, Poco and Below are still in the pit lane, so their qualifying session is over. Poco cannot improve, and Below will not have the pole. Jimenez crosses the line, he can't improve, but I think he might still have another lap time if he decides to go for another lap. There's Daniel Fraser in the back, as he will start his lap, so he has timed it pretty well. Then I think behind Fraser is the BWT Arden of Rowan Schotanus, as Ida White set an improvement, but he stays P10. Daniel Waller goes P12 as the Dutchman Schotanus in his first full season in Formula 2 now starts his lap. Will Parrish, Schotanus' teammate, goes P10 as Rosetta Martinez brings himself up into the top 3. Martinez still proving that he's got the pace that he had from 2018, where he could be definitely in shot for a victory today if he does keep that P3. But the checkered flag now waving as we're waiting for 11 cars to cross the line. Matija Dragovic just got a lap in there as he will start his final lap. Just gonna check as there's one car coming across the line. Just trying to find who that is. There's one person into the pit lane. That's Kuben Grissom. He will not improve. Fernando Toss does improve though. He goes P13 Tost and Silva still very, very close on track. Obviously, those two were basically equal last season when they were teammates. So they're proving to be very, very close on talent. Daniel Waller, who is on a lap time there, but we're going to see Ron Schotanos, or actually Daniel Fraser, as Fraser ahead of Schotanos there on track. There is, I believe, Waller was coming into the pit, but let's see Daniel Fraser can get himself out of last place, and he can. He goes P7. Very, very good debut performance on his F2 return for Daniel Fraser, as Ron Schotanos, who will cross the line as well. He goes P11, just ahead of Ida White. Very good for the Dutchman, as that's taking pole. It's Daniel Waller by 0.004 of a second. He just grabs pole from Matthias Poco, and that is the Chinese-American driver on pole position. But it could not be over yet, as we have one car is going to cross the line. We'll see if Waller will hold on to the pole. It's Dragovic, and Dragovic is into the pit lane, and that means that in his first ever race and in the first ever qualifying for the 2019 season, it is Daniel Waller who is on pole for Charouz.
Absolutely fantastic for Daniel Waller. It's only by 0.004 as well, so that makes it even better. But it's absolute travesty for Palco, who was hoping he could get pole, but it's Connection in third as well. So fantastic job, fantastic shift from her.
Yes, it is an absolutely, it's been a very, very exciting qualifying with 17 laps ahead of us. But let's go through then for your starting grid for the 2019 Formula 2 Bahrain Grand Prix. We'll take this 4x4 then. So, Daniel Waller, young rookie, takes a debut pole. That is really going to impress Ferrari for sure, as he starts on pole for the Bahrain Grand Prix, followed by Matthias Poco for Prema in P2. And then on the second row is Emilia Konishina, very, very good qualifying for the Polish driver. And then it's Rosetta Martinez in P4.
And in P5, it is the ART of Jean-Francois Belot. Then in P6 is Ricard Sundevic. And then 7th, Rodrigo Jimenez. And 8th is the UNI of Daniel Fraser.
Yeah, and behind Fraser is his fellow countryman Alex Broster in P9, followed by Niki Luwanji in P10, who rounds out the top 10. Matija Dragovic starts P11. He could be in some good contention for points today, followed by Ron Schotanos in P12.
And then Ide Weitz in 13th, followed by Eduardo Silva in 14th, Will Parrish in the BWT Arden in 15th, and Fernando Tost in the Trident in 16th place.
Kuben Grissom is P17, followed by Emil Nilsson. A bit of a disappointing Formula 2 debut, I think it is for him, as he starts P18. And the final two cars on the grid will be Håkon Olsen and Aditya Bagus. So, let's get underway for the first time in 2019. As we await the lights, and it's Daniel Waller on pole, but can Matthias Poco do anything in P2 as the lights are now coming on? We got 6 lights here, Bahrain. And we are on the way for the Bahrain Grand Prix. It looks to be a very, very good start for Daniel Waller. Not so much for Matthias Poco, as Rosetta Martinez tries to do anything at the back. I think Konishina, who's trying to get side by side with Poco, though, as Waller's going to have to cover off on the inside. Martinez dueling with Konishina there for P3, as I think the Filipino is trying to get himself up at the third place, as the two are going to be side by side. Waller, though, leads from Matthias Poco as they head down to run into turns. But it's Poco on the inside of Daniel Waller. Waller's forced a long way round, but he's got the inside line as they head into the S's. Has Waller been able to successfully defend from Poco? He has. It's very, very good racing. We're retreating to Poco, though. bit over the curbs there. That's going to upset his cars. Konishin and Martinez. What a battle between the two. As Martinez is going to be on the inside. Konishin still trying to hang on the outside line. As Rickard Sundevik is going to try to follow them past. Sundevik is going to pass Jean-Francois below. Martinez, who got the move down on the outside. Konishin is trying to look for a way past. But Martinez comes out victorious in that battle. Wale now leads from Poco, Martinez, Konishin, and then Sundevik as Ida Veit, who's been overtaken by Mattia Dragovic there. He's doing with Eduardo Silva at the back. Håkan Olsen has been overtaken by Aditya Bakos there as well. As Veit, who's trying to come back, and Dragovic into turn 11. As Dragovic goes a bit wide. Veit is going to have the outside line. They're still side by side. Veit taking a bit of a run up there as... Yeah, look at that, still side by side into the braking zone now. Veit using all the available track as I think Dragovic has defended from the Swede as the two Tridents. As there's sparks flying from the corner of the Veit switches to the inside as the two Tridents in the back as well. They go two-file into the final corner. I can't believe this. We're being treated to absolutely great battling as Dragovic goes a bit wide as well. These drivers getting their elbows out now as Veit and Dragovic starting lap 2 now. Side by side as Silva and Tost as well. Dueling for P14. Absolutely incredible racing. As we're going to see now into the first quarter. It's going to be later on the brakes. As Ida Veit's trying to hang on there on the inside. Gets a bad exit though. And I think that is Dragovic done and dusted with the move, but not yet. Oh goodness me, this goes on for way too long. I'm sorry, Alex. But it's going to be Dragovic on the outside. Veit on the inside is going to get the better traction on the inside line there. And he has. The battle finally comes to an end as Ida Veit gets on for P12. What do you make of that start, Alex?
Absolutely fantastic by Ida Veit. Basically battling for the whole lap, as we see here the two Tridents still going at it with one another. If they crash now, it'll probably be a very awkward debrief, as Alex Roster also lost a place on the start to Nico Wolji, but he is hanging in that top 10 for now. Daniel Waller remains in the lead as the two Tridents continuing to battle here, and I think that was Tost getting past Silva just about, but they are going to remain side by side into turn 11.
Yeah, these guys have been side by side for almost the entire lap. Goodness me, these crop of young talents are really proving themselves today, as Silva and Tost are just still locked in fierce to fierce competition. Locked in fierce wheel-to-wheel competition is what I meant to say. But now, as Silva gets past Tost, Parrish will say thank you very much and try to slip past Fernando Tost here, as he does so. Very opportunistic move for Will Parrish, but it might just not be over yet, as Tost will have to defend the inside from Parrish, but the American goes around the outside, goes a bit wide though. That's still gonna carry on the battle into the first corner, as Aditya Bagos, who I think was looking to make a move on Cuban Grissom there, as Fernando Tost still dueling with Parrish. Parrish gonna try to go the long way round on Fernando Tost, and I believe he has got the move done. Is the battle still over? I believe it is for now, but Tost has I think a very good run on the American in the BWT Arden. Yes, he has on the inside, late on the brakes for Fernando Tost, but can he hold it through as they're wheel to wheel, so close between Tost and Parrish here as they head into the SS now. Still carrying it on side by side, but Tost with a bad exit there, and that's allowed Will Parrish to get past. Very good stuff from Will Parrish.
Yeah, and this actually may invite Cuban Grissom into the fight with Fernando Tost, as Tost continues to fall down the grid, losing out on the battle with Silva, losing out on the battle with Parrish, and could possibly lose out to Grissom.
Yeah, Cuban Grissom, as everyone in the top 15 here, very, very close, as we see the position gains then from the start. Obviously, Rosetta Martinez, who got past Emilia Konishina, so that brings the Filipino driver up into the podium. And I did also mention Sundevik on below. Fraser was able to overtake Jimenez for P7, and Nikhil Walji was able to clear Alex Broster for P9. And then Mattia Dragovic, the big loser out of all this, he was overtaken by Ron Chotanos and Ide Veit. So he falls down 2 positions. And then Aditya Bagos with a very, very good start, as he gets both Håkan Olsen and Emil Nilsson. But yeah, back to racing in the top 3 then. It's very, very separated in the top 3. You can see here. Daniel Waller leads by 1.4 seconds from Matthias Poco, doing very, very well, as Poco just doesn't seem to be able to be on the pace as Emil Nilsson, the Estonian, tries to get past Aditya Bagos into the first corner. It's going to be around the outsiders, go on board with the Estonian. He gets the better run on him to the run into turn 3 now. as Nilsson's gonna have the inside line. I think Bagos is still there though, as he's gonna be on the inside trying to defend P18 from Aditya Bagos, and he is ahead. So very nice little battle from Nilsson and Bagos, but is Emil Nilsson who comes out victorious? Maybe not yet, as they're side by side through the S's into the braking zone now. It's gonna be Nilsson on the inside, it's gonna be Bagos on the outside. Bagos though is gonna have the inside line as he heads into the braking zone, turn 10. Usually we see a lot of battles end here, but it's gonna be Nilsson round the outside, and he gets it. Very nice stuff from Emil Nilsson.
Yeah, unrelated to the battle with Nilsson and Bargos, there's a massive DRS train going from Sundevik to, I think, Eduardo Silva down in 14th. So anyone can really get the top 10 out. Alex Prost is still pretty much stuck in P10, trying to catch up to Nikol Wolji, and Sundevik is leading this train in P5.
Yeah, pretty close battle still, as Bagos is still trying to put the pressure on Emil Nilsson. These guys are really going all out for positions today, as Bagos is just throwing everything he has. Nilsson with just really good defending here from Aditya Bagos, but it is going to be Emil Nilsson who comes up victorious. But this has invited Håkon Olsen to get involved in this battle for P18, as I think he has got a pretty nice run on Aditya Bagos here. As we're talking about Bagos going up 2 positions, he could bring down to his original starting position, as Håkon Olsen tries it now on the outside into the first corner. It's kind of the inside line heading into the turn 3 now. So they're going to be side by side down the start finish straight. Olsen trying to cover off Bagos here into turn 3. It's Norwegian versus Indonesian, as Olsen gets it done before the corner. Very nice stuff from Håkon Olsen.
Yeah, shame it's only for P19 though, but fantastic battling throughout the field, even if it is for second to last. But yeah, fantastic from the Norwegian driver to get past Aditya Bargos, and he will try and I think he will want to try and catch up to Nilsson, Grissom and Toss now.
Yeah, but these guys battling has cost him quite a lot. Look, Olsen to Nilsson is now 1.8 seconds, and Nilsson is 1.7 to Kuba and Grissom ahead. So battling is very, very costly, and it loses them a lot. At the moment though, here is Rickard Sundevik, the Swedish-Korean driver, as he is on the back of Emilia Konishina for P4, number 4 in 4th place, as Konishina is struggling to catch up to Rosetta Martinez. Top 5 still very, very close. You did mention, Alex, the DRS train from Sundevik, and then ahead, as I believe Matthias Poco is catching up to Daniel Wale, so there could be an interesting battle forming there in a few laps time. We'll see though if that materializes.
Yeah, as you can see, there are a lot of drivers setting personal best lap times. Broston has now fallen out of DRS range of Wolji, so it will be a pretty tough ask to try and catch up now. And Shatanas is also right on his tail.
Yeah, as Emil Nilsson in P18 surprisingly sets the fastest lap of the race. So the Estonian is proven to be on pretty good pace, so we could see him making a few more moves today. As we can see a battle form here as Matija Dragovic, who is on the back of Ide Weitz in the Carlin, as yeah, he's going to try to get past the Swede with Weitz himself, who is stuck behind Ron Shatanas there for P11. We'll see if any battles will occur here, but they are very, very close. And then Eduardo Silva in P14 as well, as we see everyone here heading down the start-finish straight. As yes, Poco is closing that gap by a bit actually. It used to be 1.4 seconds, that's down to 9. It's down to 9/10 of a second now.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Wallace actually made a mistake somewhere on the track, but Palco is catching pretty quickly down within DRS, and Martinez may also be having a sniff here.
Yeah, Martinez is catching up to Poco. Konishina still can't close that gap to Martinez, as we see Matthias Poco here, who's trying to who is just trailing behind Daniel Wale there, and then Martinez in P3 is going to try to take that P2 from Matthias Poco, as Fernando Tost now sets the fastest lap of the race. He's down in P16 at the moment. This could prove to be good for the Polish driver, as he's trying to catch up to Will Parrish in P15. Either way though, if it was a mistake from Wale, he's still keeping that gap consistent between him and Matthias Poco at the moment.
Yeah, going back to Tost, he will need as much pace as he can get, because he will really want to catch up to Paris and maybe even get Silver and Dragovic later on in the remaining laps we've got.
Yeah, he could definitely do it. As yeah, look at that. Wale must have made a mistake somewhere. That gap's down to 7 tenths now. So that brings Poco a bit closer, but not within striking distance, luckily for Wale. So yeah, either way, he's been really commanding the field at the moment, Daniel. So yeah, but Poco could still have a say in that.
Yeah, while we're still really a debutant in Formula 2, can definitely feel the pressure of Matthias Parker, I believe, is also a debutant. So these two are definitely going at it for a maiden race win, and let's just see who comes out on top.
Yes, it's a new generation of Formula 2 drivers, and they're really proving themselves to be on the pace, which is very, very nice. And especially Daniel Wale, who was who did pretty well in IndyCar as well. Obviously, he didn't win anything, but he scored a few podiums here and there. And yeah, he did very well. Matthias Poco, obviously, same story goes for him. Like Daniel Wale, scored a few good podiums here and there too. And yeah, he got promoted to F2 with Prema. As here is a man who has just, yeah, he has not really done anything. He's just been in Formula 2 for the entirety of his career. Jean-Francois Bilot, currently in P6, trying to chase down Rickard Sundevik, trying to get back that P5 that he lost on the first lap to Sundevik, keeping a relatively close distance to Sundevik, so he could make the move in case Rickard does make a mistake here or there.
Yeah, Bilot will definitely want to keep that pressure on in case Sundevik does make a mistake, as you mentioned, Miranda. But Bilot has really been keeping himself pretty honest in his time in F2, pretty consistent throughout his time there, and definitely deserves to have a seat.
Yeah, Bilot is obviously, I'd say, one of the stalwarts of Formula 2. He's just been very, very consistent, and yeah, he's overall a very good driver. I think some people tend to forget that, but yeah, we'll see if a return to glory is on the card for Bilot this season. Maybe he could score a second win. Who knows? Anything can happen this season, ladies and gentlemen. It is Formula 2 after all. Yeah, I think that is the closest gap at the moment. Bilot versus Sundevik, as he's just edging closer and closer. No, this is now the closest gap. It's Dragovic on Weitz, as Dragovic had a bit of a look on the inside there of the Weitz, but could not complete with that. As Aditya Bagus now has the fastest lap of the race in last place at the moment. That's very odd.
Yeah, not sure what's going on here with the cars towards the back, but they do seem to be finding pace where none of the front runners are finding it. So it seems they're taking advantage of the track being more rubbered into them for them. And
yes, definitely.
As we see here, Jean-Francois Bilot in P6, still trying to chase after Sundevik, but at the moment, still no gains being made.
Yes, as we observe Matthias Poco, that gap is down to 5 tenths. So Poco is closing in, or Wale has made another mistake at turn 10. Because if you remember last time when we said that Poco just completely closed the gap by a few tenths to Wale, it was at turn 10. So I think Daniel just doesn't like that corner, and Matthias does. So Wale might have to watch out in the coming few laps for Matthias Poco, I think.
Yeah, entering the 10th lap of the race now, and Poco is very much, as you said, very close to the back of Waller, and if Waller keeps making mistakes at a 10th turn, Poco will definitely be having a look down the main straight in a few laps. As you see here, Bilot closer than ever before on Sundevik, but still cannot find a way past.
Yeah, Bilot just biding his time, trying to get past Sundevik, as Aditya Bagus sets yet another fastest lap. Curious. but he's still keeping. Still not closing in on Håkan Olsen, which is a bit strange. Matija Dragovic, who is still trying to find a way past Ide Weitz, can't quite do it just yet, but he is still gonna wait Dragovic.
Yeah, Dragovic seems to be getting a bit frustrated behind Weitz now after his failed attempt to get past, but he will definitely get another opportunity as he is only 4.5 tenths behind, so that should definitely be within striking distance going down the main straight.
Yes, indeed, as I think turn 1 is proving to be most fruitful for drivers to make overtakes, as this is a DRS zone as well, but not quite a long one, so you can't really close in on your opponents here. It's mostly just on the very long start-finish straight here at Bahrain.
Yeah, it seems to be a very recurring theme with a lot of moves done later on in the race. A lot of them are just done going into turn 1 as there's more opportunity to pull a slipstream on the driver in front, as Alex Broster has actually managed to gain some time on Nicol Walgi. Maybe Walgi's made a mistake of his own.
Yeah, that is true. Walgi, though, he is gaining on Rodrigo Jimenez, so that field is just being pulled closer and closer, as we will now observe Matija Dragovic. Let's see, as he is gonna try to make the move, but he's just not close enough yet. He backs out of it. So Olsen, or not starting Olsen, Håkan Olsen did set the fastest lap, Dragovic's teammate, but Dragovic stays behind them for now. Could maybe try it into this corner, but I believe he's just a bit too far away, and I think, yeah, I guess he just wasn't close enough to try the move just yet.
Dragovic could have definitely got that move done in turn 1, but I don't think he wants to take any risks of taking himself and Weitz out of contention and DNFing.
Yeah, yeah, that could have been. Yeah, you never know what would have happened. I think it was pretty far way back as well, so yeah, we would have seen if we wouldn't know if that would have worked or not. Either way, here is Jean-Francois Bilot, the Frenchman, in the ART, as he's chasing down Richard Sundevik. Sundevik, who is in his second season for NP Motorsport. Remember, in 2017, he drove for Pertamina Arden, obviously now BWT Arden, alongside Alex Broster. Broster has moved to Campos for 2018, and then he stayed there for a second season with 2019. But this man has remained loyal to ART for a total of 3 seasons now. So that is pretty incredible, I have to say.
Yeah, ART do seem to be putting a lot of faith in Jean Bellone, and I can definitely see why, as he could be making a move into turn 1, but I think he is just a little bit too far back. It seems to be the same situation as Dragovic on the previous lap, and Dragovic himself seems to be close to Weitz, but still no way through, as Weitz tries to make his car in as wide as possible.
Yeah, Weitz remaining strong on the defense. As we do know from Weitz, he's a pretty good defender. But yeah, Matija is still gonna try to find a way past, as Wale has picked up the pace. That gap is back up to a second. So Poco is not able to get Daniel Wale, unfortunately. As yeah, it is still Daniel Wale in the lead then with 5 laps to go.
A name we haven't actually mentioned for a while is actually Emilia Konechna, who has stayed in P1 since being overtaken by Rosetta Martinez, and she's putting in a fantastic shift for her very first race in F2, and even if she doesn't get a podium, she'll be very pleased with a P4.
Oh yes, definitely. Konechna still doing very well, holding that P4. Yeah, it might have not been a debut podium the Polish driver was not hoping for, but yeah, she's still beating her teammate, which is nice, as Daniel Wale now has the fastest lap of the race. And yeah, my suspicions were correct. Wale has now picked up the pace, as he's increased that gap by a 10th to Matthias Poco from the last lap.
Yeah, Wale has seemed to finally find a groove with around 4 laps left, and may have managed to fix up his line into turn 10, which is helping him pull away even more from Parko, and if he keeps this up, he will definitely get a first race win.
Yes, it's always very, very nice to have a first race winner. Obviously, every race winner here at Bahrain in F2 has been a first, even counting Daniel Fraser, but maybe not, because that was the first ever Formula 2 race. But it was Daniel Fraser in 2017, Maximilian Novikov in 2018, and now it could be Daniel Walla in 2019, but I will only say could be, because I have a history with jinxing people, so I will not say that's going to happen for sure, because we never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, let's hope you don't jinx anyone again, Mirren, because it just seems to be a curse at this point.
Yeah, if it happens in advance, sorry Daniel, but yeah, either way, we'll just see what happens. As Jean Bilot, who has not been able to get back at Rickard Sundevik, he's gonna have to hope for Sundevik to make a mistake and make them move. Obviously, if you remember Sundevik, his highest finishing position, I believe, is P2, which he scored at the 2018 F2 Portuguese Grand Prix. He was actually leading that race, surprisingly enough, considering how abysmal of a 2018 season we have. But let's not focus on that, let's focus on this, as Emil Nilsson is going to be on the inside of Kuben Grissom here. Battle for P17, but I believe Nilsson has not succeeded with that move, but he's still on the back of Kuben Grissom, so the battle could still go on as Nilsson trying to get in the slipstream of Kuben Grissom. Can he get that move? No, he cannot. So Nilsson stays in P18, but yeah, that was an interesting battle.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Estonian actually made contact with Grissom at turn 1, so he will definitely have to be careful on the next attempt to make sure he doesn't lose his front wing.
Yeah, I think Emil was just maybe getting... I think he was just getting impatient there. But, yeah, what I was going to say was that Sundevik, back in Portugal in 2018, he led the majority of that race. And then he got overtaken by Rosetta Martinez. He would have actually... at first, he actually defended successfully from Martinez. Yeah, he actually defended from Martinez. So he was holding the lead, but then he locked up into the braking zone and went wide as a result, which allowed Martinez to slip past. It was a very, very unusual thing.
Yeah. Something you don't really see every day in the ACOC, but you know, anything can happen since it is Formula 2, and Martinez last season did definitely prove to have a very good second half of the season, and he is now still continuing that form he's carrying from 2018 by being in the final podium spot.
Yeah, Martinez is going to be quite happy with a debut podium. Obviously, he's going to have to hope to... his goals is to win the Formula 2 championship, but I guess so is everyone's. But Martinez especially, as he had a very, very strong 2018 season, and he really wants to capitalize off that, and I think he is doing that at the moment, considering that he is running P3 here at Bahrain. But yeah, at the moment, Daniel Walla has built up that gap once more to Matheus Poco, 1.4 seconds to the Brazilian.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, whilst we were talking earlier, Walla was a fastest lap a couple of laps ago, so yeah, definitely asserting his dominance in this race.
Yeah, he is doing very, very well, Daniel Walla, as yeah, he's just putting in a very, very excellent performance in his first ever Formula 2 race, so he looks to be very, very comfortable with his car. And yeah, I think the higher-ups at Ferrari will be pretty delighted with the performance of Daniel Walla. Same goes for Rosetta Martinez. So the Ferrari Driver Academy sure has a lot of good talents on their hands.
Yeah, the future does look bright for Rosetta and Daniel, and Ferrari will definitely be keeping a watchful eye on them for this season, and they may earn themselves a promotion to Formula 1 next season, depending on how the rest of their seasons go.
Yeah, obviously, speaking of Formula 1, if you are a bit sad that the ACOC action is ending this weekend, don't worry, because the Formula 1 Bowling Grand Prix is tomorrow, And yeah, there we'll see the first ever F1 race of the season, which is going to be very, very exciting. But for now, we'll focus on Formula 2 as Emil Nilsson still trying to get past Kuben Grissom for P17. As Wale is look at that, he's extended that gap. He's made up 4/10 on Matthias Poco in the span of a lap. That is incredible.
Yeah, I think it might be Palka the one making mistakes at turn 10 now, but yeah, absolutely fantastic from Danny Waller. I think Palka is starting to catch up a little bit now, getting 2 tenths back on Waller. So, but I think this race may be all but over now as we approach the very last lap of this race.
Yes, as Daniel Waller will approach the back straight now. He's just going to start his final lap. But here is Rickard Sunevik, who's actually catching up to Emilia Konishina. So we could maybe see a last lap battle between Emilia Konishina and Rili Sunevik here, as they will now approach the final corner here, as Daniel Waller now starts the final lap of this 2019 ACOC F2 Bahrain Grand Prix. But we're going to focus on this battle, and Sunevik versus Konishina. Sunevik pulls to the inside of Emilia Konishina. Here's the ART versus the MP Motorsport car. Sunnevik's going to be on the inside. This is the battle for P4, ladies and gentlemen, as Sunevik trying to hang on to the inside there. Bit of too much lock on the wheel there for Sunevik. And he got a very bad exit out of the first corner, which allowed Konishina to get ahead. Sunevik, though, still trying to find a way past, but Konishina successfully defends from the Swedish-Korean driver.
Yeah, Sunevik maybe being a bit desperate, since that may have been his last opportunity to get past Konishina. But if I was Richard, I'd probably still be happy with a P5 finish, as he has more things to worry about with Jean-François Below catching up once again.
Yeah, Sunevik, I think the goal for him this season will just be consistent points finishes, considering his 2018 season was just not good at all, and for 1 point to even consider retiring. So yeah, we'll see if he can get. We'll see if things will go better for Sunevik this season, as Below looked very, very close to Sunevik there, but he could not make the move. Either way, Daniel Waller. Here he is, the American-Chinese driver. Couldn't win in IndyCar, but he will now in Formula 2, as he will cross the final corner. Here to win in Formula 2 is Daniel Waller, as he will cross the line. It's a debut win for the Chinese-American driver, as he will win at the Bahrain International Circuit. Matthias Poco, incredible for him, P2, as Rosetta Martinez, another strong performance from him in P3. And that was a very, very incredible, that was an incredible race, as Daniel Fraser as well, P7. And yes, that is it.
Absolutely fantastic racing from these 20 drivers, and let's hope for more of the same in the next race. Again, yes. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it was very, very good. Daniel Waller, just a masterclass for the Charouz driver. Lights to flag victory and the fastest lap as well, so he secures the trifecta here today. And yeah, so he wins the Bahrain Grand Prix. We'll go through the results now. We'll do it 4x4 once again. So it's Daniel Waller who wins the Bahrain Grand Prix, followed by Matthias Poco, who scores a podium on his debut. He'll be very, very happy with that. And then it's Rosetta Martinez who rounds out the podium in P3. Very, very, very good from the Filipino once again, proving his talent. And that is Emilia Konishina in P4.
Richard Sunevik in P5. Probably hoped for a little bit more in this race. Jean-François Below stuck behind Sunevik for the majority of the race. Finishes P6. Daniel Fraser with a very good race in P7, and Rodrigo Jimenez in P8.
Yes, Nikhil Walji is P9, and Alex Broster finishes in the points P10. Ron Shotanos is P11, and Ida Vines, who is just able to hold off Matija Dragovic, he finishes P12.
And Matija Dragovic will be frustrated that he was stuck behind Weitz, and he can only take P13 today. Eduardo Silva in P14, Will Parrish, the American driver, in P15, and Fernando Tost in the Trident is P16.
Kuben Grissom is P17, and then Emil Nilsson, who seems to have very, very good pace today, he finishes a lowly P18, so he'll be hoping for a better qualifying session next time out at, I believe it's the Spanish Grand Prix. Either way, we'll check that later. Yes, it is the Spanish Grand Prix, so I was right on that. Yeah, he'll be hoping for a better qualifying next time, as it is the final two cars. The final two finishers is Håkon Olsen and then Aditya Bagus, who had pretty good pace as well, but he finishes P20. So that is it for the Bahrain Grand Prix. It's been a very, very exciting race. Congratulations to Daniel Wale on the victory, an excellent performance by Daniel, and then Matthias Poco and Rosetta Martinez rounding out the podium. Alex, do you have anything to say before you go?
Well, I'm absolutely breathtaken by the racing we've seen today, and especially with the likes of the two Tridents fighting as well. That could have ended horribly, but yeah, absolutely fantastic battles today, and let's hope for more in Catalonia.
Yes, it's going to be very, very exciting as Formula 2 heads to Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia for round 2 of the F2 Championship. But that is it for the ACOC today. We will see you tomorrow for the Formula 1 Bahrain Grand Prix for the start of the F1 season. That's been it for me. I've been Miran Evji.
I've been Alex Broster.
Thanks so much for watching. And yes, we'll see you tomorrow when the ACOC returns for Formula 1.